Hi, my name is Joel Edwards. I'm here at Jones Technical Institute in the Automotive Technology program. Today I'm going to be going over some electrical diagnosis procedures on an auto vehicle. I'm going to start with battery conductance testing and load testing. Going to move on to diagnosing problems in the starting system, and finally going to stop off to diagnosing problems or anything that could happen in the charging systems.
Alright, now we're actually going to get to use the conductance tester. It doesn't really have its own internal power source. We're going to hook it up to the battery, pretty standard stuff, red to red, black to black, or, red to positive, black to negative in case you don't have the red on there and the black on there. So we got it started up, power going to the meter, enter, battery is in the vehicle, there are top posts. Alright, so it is a regular flooded cell battery. It's not a absorbed glass mat, flat plate, or spiral, or anything fancy like that. Pretty standard stuff, so we're going to pick that one. We're going to do the cold cranking amps. This one is rated at 700 cold cranking amps, so I'm going to bring this down to 700. Alright, hit enter again. It's testing. Yep, thing's got a bad cell. I knew that already, but now I got the machine telling me we did. And I'm going to print it out. Battery power too low to use printer. Alright, so I have a printout from earlier here since this thing's not one to print because this thing does not have enough power going through it because it has a bad cell. Basically it would tell me what this thing's already told me. It's a bad battery, we need to replace it. And this is good, we got solid proof in our hand. It's nice and fast. It's easy to use. It's very accurate. So you can save money and reputation by using this because you're not going to bring it in and start frying people's batteries. They come in with a nice battery, you fry their battery, or they're not going to come back to you, and you got to buy them a new battery. Good reliable information. You got the physical proof, like I said earlier. Nice and professional. You got this nice fancy tool. You can do some old janky toaster thing you're hooking up and just running current through it. So I use one of these. All right. So we're doing a load test on the battery. We picked a battery that I checked previously with the conductance tester. I know that this will not fry the battery. Basically got the conductance tester, or the janky toaster test, as I like to call it, and have called it. Just going to send 100 amps into it, just to check the battery, to make sure it is capable of taking the load. We're at about 11 volts in the battery, so while we're loading it, we're going to put it on. We're going to hold the switch down for 10 seconds, and it cannot go below 9.7 and pass as a healthy battery. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, it stayed at 10 volts, so we got a good healthy battery. Thing's ready to rock and roll. Alright, so we've gone over the battery. Now we're going to go over diagnosing some starting system concerns. Now, if it's not cranking or slow cranking, basically we're going to be hunting power and ground throughout the circuit. So first thing I'm going to do, make sure we got battery voltage, in these cars' case where the batteries are constantly dying, somewhere close to it. So first we're going to test to make sure we have battery voltage. And I am reading right now that we have 12.34, which is probably as good as we're going to get on this battery. So from there, we got our positive side. I'm going to go positive to negative on here to show that power is getting to it. And once again, I'm reading full battery voltage that I had earlier. Good. So from there, for just ease and speed, I'm going to go straight from positive to positive right here on the solenoid. Once again, we're looking for voltage drop there, and we're reading practically no voltage drop, which is excellent. So while I'm at the positive here, I'm going to switch to negative here, once again checking for battery voltage. Once again, I got battery voltage, and I'm pretty happy about that. So we got that, and so once again, we're going to go from positive to negative. Ooh, if I can get that on there. Come on now. I got them crossed, so I'm going to get a negative reading. Once again, battery voltage, excellent. And then I'm going to check for overall ground in the vehicle. Got positive to negative. Once again, battery voltage, negative to negative. No voltage drop. practically no voltage drop. So basically what that's telling me is since I'm getting all of this, that means it's coming through the relay, getting power through that. Okay, so if we want to test to make sure it's not the ignition switch, basically I'm going to come up to the solenoid here, disconnect this spot which connects it to the ignition switch, if I can get this thing out of here. I'm pretty bad at these. Come on now. Up. There she goes. So I'm going to be testing, I'm going to be going positive, or negative to positive. We got a negative end here. Oop, come on now, stay on there. Got a negative here. Got a positive here. I'm gonna go ahead and crank that. You can see right now that we do have battery voltage. It's going really well. That means there's no problem in that. Just gonna hook that back up. Basically, we have full power in all the circuits. Power to ground's good, ground to ground, no voltage drop, power to power, no voltage drop. All the electricity is flowing where it needs to flow. The only other possible outcome could be it is the starter itself. Okay, so now I've gone over battery and starting. Now it's time to move on to the charging system. I got the car started. Should be starting. First thing we're going to do is we're going to come into the car right over here. Nope. I'm going to come in. I'm going to start putting loads on the charging system. Alrighty. So we're going to start with the headlights. Turn on the defrost. And just for kicks, I'm going to put on the blower motor. Got that all going full blast. Alright, so we got all these loads going. Let's see if the alternator is in fact keeping up. Alright, so we got a 100 amp alternator in this, we know from service publications. Alright, so the car is running with loads on it. I'm going to need to make sure we got correct running battery voltage. It's going to be anywhere from 13.5 volts to 14.5 volts. So I got my multimeter here once again. I'm going positive to negative with my probes. Ooh, that's a bit low. Now that may be because the battery was pretty dead already. Check up at the alternator, see if we got battery voltage there. Positive, got my negative, we got out. It's going up, it's charging. It's going. Let's see, positive, negative. Not great. Okay. Alright, so it is below 13.5. The battery was a bit dead before it started. With the load, just kind of working to get back up there. See how many amps it's been putting out. Got my amp clamp. I've set it 2 volts in auto range. It's going to read in millivolts, but those millivolts will equate to amps. Turn that on. Zero it out. And zeroing. Oh, might have jumped a little too fast there. No. And zeroing. 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 Too much. That's pretty good. All right. We're going to put this around this main lead here. Wait. This way. Alright. Reading about 62 amps. That is well within what the alternator is capable of. On this vehicle, it's not possible to full field it because it is computer controlled, not with the equipment I have at least. As you can see, it is putting out the full 61.5 amps. Read in millivolts, but that is amps, I assure you. At the same time, we are still putting out the full... Ooh, that battery's dying. Alright, so as a precaution, because the battery voltage was so low, I'm checking for a leak of alternating current going into the system. I'm checking the battery, and as you can see right here in this meter, I'm only getting about 65, 65 to 70 millivolts of alternating current in the system, which is acceptable. I would actually say that it is the battery, if anything else, because it has been being worked on a lot today. It's been running, charging, discharging. It's not a great battery. And that is charging systems.